During your progression of the main campaign, the game does a fantastic job with guiding you into which weapons to use, weaving in an upgrade of the Hope Tree, and crafting your first Ore Tree weapon as well as just part of the progression as part of the tutorials. You're in really good hands and you're provided plenty of solid guidance. There are some other fantastic weapons that you can craft which are off the beaten path, and not all of them will be immediately obvious to players, especially if you're new to the game or the franchise. So I wanted to highlight some standout early charge blades that you can craft up in low rank and they'll be absolutely fantastic for you, and some early high rank options available to you as well. After you've made your first Ore Tree weapon, when you unlock Rarity 3 weapons is where you're going to really feel this. And whilst you're progressing through, there are 3 main standout options here that you will have access to. You will be fighting these monsters, and the upgrades are very good for you. These are some low rank options to consider before we move over to the early high rank ones. The first one that really stood out to me and I actually went for myself is the Rompopolo Direct Craft Charge Blade. It's got better roar than the Hope 3 Charge Blade, comes with poison as well, same neutral affinity, a little less green sharpness, and they both use impact files as well. The skills it comes with are 2 levels of guard up, which gives you the toggle to allow you to guard against ordinarily unblockable attacks, and whilst doing so, reducing the amount of damage you take by blocking them. A pretty useful skill to have. What really attracted me to this is that you're fighting Rompopolos at the time, it's easy to craft with better roar and some poison to boot, and it looks absolutely killer. Look at that weapon design, it's insane. Taking this out for a spin causes absolute carnage against the monsters you face up against, shredding them to pieces as the charge blade does, but also poisoning them as you go for additional ticks of damage, death by monster cooties. The second one, which is also a fantastic option as you are fighting these monsters at the time, is the Direct Craft Rarity 3 Hirabami Charge Blade. Windthrash Charger 1. Again is better roar than the Hope 3, the same neutral 0% affinity, but this time we've got some ice elemental damage added on, with a change in file type from impact file to elemental file. So your core standard raw damage is going to be better than the Hopes, but you've also got all this additional ice elemental being poured on top, which is going to be fantastic for enemies that are weak against ice. Where previously your file bursts were dealing raw damage and a bunch of KO, here they'll be splashing out tons of elemental. It's also a pretty good reason to charge up your sword too, as that'll help you dish out more elemental damage as well. It comes with 2 levels of focus, which increases the fill rate for weapons with gauges, and the charge rate for weapons with charge attacks, of which the charge blade has a few. A pretty damn useful skill to have just tacked onto your charge blade, I mean, why not? And it also comes with a level of airborne, which increases the damage caused by your jumping attacks by 10%. And yo, these Hirabami weapons, let me tell you, they are gorgeous. Look at this damn thing, it looks so freaking cool. I want to use this charge blade forever. This is a great standard option even if you don't want to take advantage of the ice elemental and it's just a bonus that's tacked on. It's still a fantastic choice to go for. You can see that the roar was the same as the Rompopolo one. You just can't lose. As a third choice, if you don't fancy the Rompopolo Poison Charge Blade or the Hirabami Ice one, is the second upgrade of the Chotacabra tree, which has better roar than both of them, no additional status or element. The green sharpness is a bit small, but it also has bonus defense too. It's a fantastic choice which is very easy to craft. You've probably already got the Chotacabra shells, so with just one Rompopolo claw you're able to upgrade to this fantastic option. Don't be fooled by thinking that Chotacabra, because it's such an easy monster, doesn't have great gear. These weapons are fantastic. So for a no-frills, high raw damage charge blade, this is going to be a great pick. In terms of the skills, it comes with 1 level of artillery, which strengthens explosive attacks like shells, wyvern's fire, charge blade file attacks, and sticky ammo. A little unclear whether it only strengthens impact files or also elemental files. Kind of sounds like it does both, but if it's similar to World, it will only be for impact files. And also 1 level of guard, which reduces your knockback and stamina depletion whilst guarding, with a slight decrease to impact of attacks and reduction of stamina depletion by 15% with the 1 level. Another great choice, all 3 are excellent, pick whichever one you vibe with the most. Or don't pick and make them all. Your next step into Rarity 4 weapons, which will still be in low rank, is definitely your upgrade on the Ore Tree up to your Hyper Guard 2. There are other things that you can make, but chances are you'll have to do the quest a bunch of times if you want them. And whilst they are great options, and if you want them, go for them, I don't think any of them are truly worthwhile when compared to the Hyperguard 2, which is great because it just makes the Rarity 4 Chargeblade a very easy option. You don't have to think too much about it. Into early high rank over here now. Your main standard Chargeblade would be the Hope Strong Arm 4, so let's use that as a baseline comparison. You're looking at your 5, 7, 6 raw, into blue sharpness with a higher damage modifier than green, and a level 2 and level 1 gem slot as well. You'll also notice it's got 2 levels of speed sharpening and 1 critical eye. Not bad at all. The ones that we looked at in low rank are absolutely fantastic options for upgrades over here as well. The Rompopolo one coming in at 612 raw, more poison, the same gem slots. The sharpness isn't as good, but overall still an absolutely phenomenal option. The Hirobami second upgrade really good as well, same 612 raw, ice elemental up to 190, a little less blue sharpness than the Hope, but a bit more than the Rompopolo. And of course the files are elemental. The Chatacabra is the same, higher raw than both of those options, a slight defense boost, but again the sharpness is on the low side. I love the 2 levels of guard on this though, absolutely fantastic. We do have a couple of new players entering in at this stage, which are really cool to consider. You've got the first Direct Craft Rathian Chargeblade, the Dear Lutamis. Same raw as the Hope, but with 15% affinity. Bit of a game changer there. Some poison status effect, good sharpness, good deco slots. Coming in with 2 levels of critical status, which increases abnormal status effects when landing critical hits. So when your affinity procs, you deal more poison status buildup, right? And poison duration up, which extends the duration of your poison's effect by 20%. Not bad at all. And the first Gypceros Chargeblade, the Direct Craft Poison Blade 1, has the same raw as the Chatacabra one at 648, neutral affinity, a good chunk of poison at 260, considerably higher than the Rathian's one, but where it lets it down is it really focuses on being more Unga Bunga. It's lower sharpness, it doesn't even have blue sharpness at all, so the damage modifier will be slightly less than those with blue. But overall, it's still pretty damn solid. This is an absolutely excellent Direct Craft to get in on. These are a really good starting point to use as a foundation, as a baseline. You can, of course, deviate from these and farm anything up that you want to. Everything's an excellent choice, and they all come with their own pros and cons. It's balanced out that way. As you continue to progress, you will understand the weapons more, what's better for you, what you prefer, and you'll have no problem deciding what's going to be better for you. This is just to get you off the ground. Hopefully this is helpful and enjoyable, preferably both. Are there any other charge blades you'd suggest, like the Bone Tree for example? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. To keep up to date with all of my Monster Hunter Wilds guides, you can join the 20% of returning viewers and subscribe for more. I'm also making a conscious effort to get to 10k followers on TikTok. It's one of the requirements to unlock monetization on there. It's a bit of a steep ask, isn't it? 10k followers, goddamn. So I don't know if any of you are on there, but if you are, drop me a follow. It's at LightItUpDan. The link's in the description. That would be super helpful. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the Forbidden Lands.